Hello plant community, thanks for tuning into this channel. My name is Pam, and you know guys, we're well into the 2024 and I have goals. If you're interested in finding out what my goals are, stay tuned. Okay guys, so like I said, we're well into the 2024, and of course with New Year's we have new goals, new ideas, whether it be personal, fun, whatever the case is. And I really had to actually sit down and think about my goals as far as my plant journey, what I really wanted to do. And initially I was going to go ahead and do like adding some plants onto my wish list. But honestly, you guys, I have been going bananas with buying plants lately. I don't know what it is. This has to be a record for me because usually I kind of pull back during the non-growing season, and I usually encourage others to do the same. But I don't know. For me, what I'm seeing, even though I do a lot of my shopping online, what I have noticed is that usually during the non-growing season, I see the best deals, you guys. So it's like I take a chance, and like I said, I've been buying a lot of plants, so I don't feel like the need of actually creating a list, a wish list for me. Not saying that I don't have any plants on my wish list, because that's a list that's going to be ever growing. Will we ever complete the list? Probably not, in theory. But right now, considering that I have well over 200 plants in my collection, I thought that this year, of course, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to buy any plants. Of course, you guys, y'all know me. If I buy a plant or two, I'm going to show y'all. Y'all going to see some little hauls here and there. There's just no way around it. But what I really want to do is I want to focus more on what I can do to make my collection thrive. So I'm going to focus more on my plant care. I'm going to focus more on actually trying to understand what my plant babies needs and see if I can actually meet them and help them, encourage them to grow and thrive and just be beautiful, right? So that's what I want to do overall with all my plants. But I do have at least 5 specific goals that I want to focus on, like as far as plants. So we're just gonna jump right into it in no particular order. But I wanted to start off, well, actually, I kind of took a note and I wrote it down. One of my goals that I really want to try to do this year, and some of these goals, you guys, is going to be stretch goals. I don't know if I'm going to be able to acquire it or not, because what I want to acquire with my plants really kind of goes with what I'm able to provide my plants, what they really want. And sometimes plants, they have their own personalities, in my personal opinion. They'll grow for you sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll be thriving and sometimes they'll be declining. We don't know what's going on, right? Right. So, but one of the goals that I really want to do is I want to get a Hoya that's in my collection, a new Hoya to bloom. So I've been very fortunate, you guys, to have particular Hoyas in my collection to bloom, and I thought it'd be interesting for me to actually take note and write down. And I was surprised, you guys, so far out of my collection. Now mind you, with my Hoya collection, it's an ever-growing collection. I've been really on the Hoya bus. I can't seem to get off for some reason, and that's fine. We have our particular plant species that we gravitate more towards than others, right? So I did a list of the Hoyas that I have been able to grow, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize I had that many. But let me go over them with you. One, of course, was my Hoya Crimson Queen, as well as the Princess. Those are probably my 2 top blooming ones out of my collection. I had the Hoya Carrii bloom for me at least once. So it'd be nice to see if I'm able to get it to bloom again. My Lucanosa Snowcaps has bloomed for me a couple of times, but I think it also depends on like the plant species or genus, the actual type. So for me, it seems like the Lucanosas kind of like really bloom regularly for me. But the Snowcap one did bloom a few times, as well as the Acroiana Silver and the Black. Now those are my 2 prolific bloomers that I would rank number 2 outside of the Crimson Princess and Queen. I've also had the pleasure of having my Hoya Hindu rope bloom for me at least once, and that was a treat because I did not ever have that plant bloom for me before, and it's such a small specimen, and I've only had it for a little bit over a year in my collection. Of course, I had my Macrophala albo marginata variegated, or I know they changed the name, but I'm just gonna stick with the original name. I mean, what can I do, right? Also, you guys, I probably showed you, if you have seen some videos in the past, my newly purchased Hoya Nuna did actually open up and produce beautiful, unique blooms. So that was really a treat. I've had my Hoya Fungii seedling. That's also bloomed. I've had my Wyetii to bloom. And now that I think about it, I had my... I don't know, I had another one, but I can't remember. But anyway, just going off that list, I was looking and I was like, wow, man, I really didn't realize I had that many to bloom. So this goal for this year, I would love to be able to get at least a different Hoya to bloom so I can see a different bloom. I love the blooms. The blooms are icing on the cake for me, but I really go after these Hoyas for structures and textures and colors and shapes and things of that. But that's my first goal. The other 4 goals, you guys, will be specifically on a particular plant. And in no particular order, I'm just going to start off with probably my Philodendron Ring of Fire. If y'all remember when I first got that plant, I was so excited, I was happy, and it was a pretty decent, like a medium-sized plant. I got it for a great deal, but in my care, for some reason or another, it was declining. And I realized it was due to lack of root structure. And so I've been kind of like struggling a little bit with that plant. And I don't think I should be struggling with it because I have my regular like Jungle Boogie one that seems to be fine minus the nasty spots that's on the leaves. But this is my Ring of Fire, you guys. And I'm not too upset about what it looks like now, because really I thought I was going to lose the plant altogether. I mean, I've been really up and down with this plant. And so my goal with this plant is really to see if I'm able to increase the size. Now, once again, that would be considered what I would consider anyway a stretch goal. Stretch goals are like those goals that you can be possible, but it also depends on certain things in my mind to actually acquire that goal, right? So I would love to have this plant size up. It's not very firing right now. I mean, I have only probably 1 leaf right here that shows a little bit of sign of that beautiful variegation that Ring of Fires is known for. So I know that probably if I gave it more light, this plant will produce a little bit more color for me. But I really want to try to get these leaves to size up. And the funny part about why I'm doing this too is a good documentation for me. Like, I can go towards the end of 2024 and take a look at this and see if I actually was able to do any, make these particular changes, and maybe if I learned anything along the way. But it's a beautiful plant, but my focus is just sizing this plant up. I'm not really going to be too focused on the coloration of it. If it happens in the midst of being sizing this plant up, that'll be great. But that's what I want to do. Now, my next plant is kind of similar. I want to, which is also a philodendron, you guys, I want to, with this plant, kind of like more bring out the color of it. And let me just show y'all what it looks like. Now, this is my philodendron painted lady. And it's not very painting right now, as you can see. And I know that the reason why it's not painting is because I haven't really given it a lot of light. For the most part, this plant has been dwelling inside my home, and it has been getting the artificial lighting. The main source of light for this plant has been my artificial light. And sometimes, I guess, depending on the spectrum, it may not be strong enough to give to bring out that beautiful color that we know painted ladies are known for. Now, mind you, too, this plant did size up for me. It was very tall, almost up at my waist, and I'm kind of tall. I'm like 5'9", 5'10"ish. So it was of a good size, but I didn't like the way the leaves was looking, and I didn't really. This whole one stem I love in some plants, but in some plants I don't. And my initial thought, you guys, was actually to just chop it all the way down. But I didn't have the heart to do it. I got to a certain point and I just chopped it off. So in my mind, I'm kind of like starting this plant over. I actually have, let me show you guys. I chopped this, so I'm on the road of trying to have it a little bit more fuller. I want more vibrant colors with it. And what it was trying to, right here, if you see with this leaf right here, it was trying to give me that beautiful marbling, as well as, y'all see that, the beautiful pink stems that they are known for going. And this was kind of like the top leaf, and I took a chance because it was a growth point right there. But if it roots well, it'll grow. And you know, sometimes about my plant journey is about learning things, and you can't really learn them until you take like a chance. Now, depends on how risky of a chance you're willing to take. I noticed for me, you guys, I take more chances on those plants that I know I'll be able to replace. I'm being honest. But if it's a plant that's like, it's like what we would consider a rare plant, and you had to go through hoops to get this plant, or let's say you came across this plant and it was a great deal, and you haven't seen a deal like that for that particular plant again, then of course you be a little bit more conscious with taking the risk. But with a painted lady, I figured, okay, you know, if I go wrong with it, it's a philodendron one, but if I go wrong with it, painted ladies are a little bit, I think, more available now than what they used to be. But my goal is to root these, so I have them actually sitting in this water and sitting on my dining room table, but it's actually a beautiful centerpiece nonetheless too. But once it roots, I'm just going to pot it back up in here. And I think also in the growing season, you guys, this plant will maybe one of the ones that I will try to put outside, and hopefully it'll promote that beautiful color like my Pariso Verde did when I did put it outside to actually get that color. So maybe it might do that, and even if it doesn't give me the color that I need, maybe it'll activate it and give me the thing. But my goal is to make this plant a little bit more fuller and bushier. So that's why I kind of chopped it down. And yeah, I didn't want the one stem for this plant. I don't know why, because I do like singular stems depending on the type of the plant. My last two plants, you guys, is actually an Ecuagenera import. Both of these plants, you guys, I've just been struggling like crap. And I don't, you know, and I'm just going to get right into it. So my first one, you guys, is my Anthurium pallidiflorum. And this is what I'm working with, you guys. And okay, now, it looks a hot mess. In my personal opinion, it does. It does not look good. I'm happy that I got this. It took me a long time to get this. Now, mind you, like I said, this was an Ecuagenera import. When I got the plant, these leaves were so long, and I mean, I was like in awe. I'm in awe of the plant anyway, because it's something about the way the leaves hang and the texture of the leaves. It always had a shimmery look before I even purchased this plant, and then I have it in my possession, and it's like a satin look texture to it, right? All the leaves, I don't know what happened, honestly, you guys. All the leaves literally crisped up and fell off, and I was left with nothing but this daggone stump. Nothing but the stump. And I started, and I'm glad I didn't though, I started to try to cut in between, but I wasn't quite sure how readily and easily it is to propagate. So I left it alone. I more or less try to spray this, and I know it's a lot of growing eyes going on up in here, and I just don't know. But over time, as I sprayed it, I did see one little node that came out, and I saw, okay, great. I was a little excited. I said, okay, see some growth point going on. Let me just keep doing what I'm doing. And I was blasting it with nothing but just the artificial lighting. And I mean, I've had this plant, which is sad to admit, but it's true. And it's part of the plant journey. You know, if you can't admit any flaws in your journey, then there will never be any growth. And I'm okay with fully disclosing that with you guys, because that's how we learn together in this beautiful plant community. But I've had this plant, had to be almost going on 2 years now. And you would think that seeing something like this, it would have been very long. And I get kind of envious when I see other people's pallidiflorum just beautifully hanging and so long and so this and so that. And I'm like, dang, what is going on with this? And I was this close, you guys, honestly, this close with buying a whole nother one. I've been seeing them more readily available and not as expensive as it was when I did get this one. So, but then I said, nope, I want to give this plant, that's what I want to do. I want to give this plant a chance. I want to give myself a chance, and I want to also train myself to be a little bit more patient. And also I want to put my 100% all in this plant. And if it doesn't work, so be it. I can at least say I tried before I even venture out to buy a plant. I didn't want to just call it quits because this plant isn't doing it for me or growing as fast as I want to. How can I, as the plant parent, bring the best out of this plant, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. And so far, this one has come out. And then this one as well. But this one, I just noticed, dang, that thing kind of went. I just noticed this leaf. It's weird. I had just noticed this leaf the other day, but it was only a little stick. So now it's really came out. I'm going to try, I don't know what else to do with the plant because I got it like, I downsized it. I have it in, and I try to keep it, because I don't think this plant really likes to dry out too much. At least it seems that way. But anyway, I have leca balls in here with a little bit of water. I just sit it on top, so that when I do water it, it goes down. And I don't know if this plant really needs the humidity or not. Like most anthuriums, how important the humidity is for this plant, I don't know. But I figured, just creating its own vessel of humidity can't hurt it, right? So I think what I'll do, especially when we do go back to the growing season, I'm just going to start spraying. Spraying the node areas for me has worked in the past with bringing certain plants back to life. And so I'm hoping that maybe if I could just get another growth point like somewhere else on this stem, I would really be extremely hopeful. So y'all wish me luck. Now the last and final plant, you guys, like I said, is also an equigeneric import, and I have been completely on a roller coaster with this one, especially with the pests. And I don't know, this plant, I love the plant. It's so beautiful, but god darn it, it is a pain in the butt. And this is my Antherium. It's just the Antherium. Jeez, not Anthurium. The Philodendron Plowmanii, I believe. This plant, okay, now I got it in here because I guess it's a crawler. It's coming a long way, you guys. This, mind you, all the leaves fell off of this plant. I had absolutely nothing. I had one little nasty leaf, and I had to use it for photosynthesis purposes. I was able to get the leaves to grow nicely, but this thing gets spider mites like you would not believe. I could not stay up on the mites for some reason, and so I lost all the leaves off of that plant, and nothing was going on. And honestly, you guys, I was about to chuck this thing in the trash because I said, you know what, and just ward myself off from ever buying another Philodendron Plowmanii. I was like, I don't need the headache of these damn pests. So I don't know, I put it outside. Honestly, I didn't expect it to do anything. I put it outside, almost towards, I wish, if I knew what I knew now, if I did in the beginning of the growing season, maybe it would be a lot fuller and bigger. I don't know. But I actually decided I had enough of it. I think it finally had got some more pest issues again with the spider mites, and I'm doing a treatment. I said, you know what, I'm just going to put it outside. When I put it outside, it was almost towards the end of the growing season, but it activated something when I did put it outside. And so I said, okay, look like we're coming along. And so far, so I've cut off some of the leaves. It had more leaves in this. In theory, it's just 4 leaves right now, but it does have, you see that one growth point right there, and then one right here. My goal for this plant, you guys, is 1, keeping it alive. 2, maybe if I can get it to be a little bit more fuller. I know it's a crawler, so I think in the growing season, or if it starts declining in some kind of way, I'm gonna try to figure out if there would be a way for me to kind of like start this growth right down here so it can kind of go up. I'm not quite sure. I think the reason why I put it in here like this was probably because of the root system. I may have to do something a little different, I don't know, but I don't think I can put it in a bigger rectangular planter than what I have. I have it in a very airy, extremely airy. It has leca balls in this. It has orchid bark. It has a lot of perlite in this. It has some pumice in this. I wanted it to be extremely airy because this is a glazed pot. So whenever I put plants directly into a glazed pot, now it does have a drainage hole. I can't really lift it up and show you guys without fear of pouring out all this soil, but it does have a drainage hole. But whenever I have a glazed pot and I'm potting my plant directly inside, I do try my best to make it extremely airy, like almost more amendments than soil at this point, and it tends to do final work in my favor. The only time where I'm not making it very airy, you guys, is if I'm putting a very moisture loving plant of mine inside of a glazed pot, because I want to not have to worry about watering it that often. Doing it in that theory has been working in my favor. But anyway, so my goal for this plant, you guys, is to make sure that it stays pest free. Hopefully I can get this plant to survive, and then maybe towards the end of the year, when I do my end of the year review for my goals, was I successful or not, you know, maybe I would have achieved it. Hopefully this plant, well, all my plants will still be around with me so we can do the review. But yeah, this pretty much wraps up this video, you guys. If you have any care tips for any of the plants that I just showed you, please share below. I would like to try to see if I'm able to incorporate those ideas and what you've tried to actually have your plants thrive, and see if I'm able to do it, because I do realize, you know, that we are in different parts of the world, different parts of environments, and those do play a factor. But I do believe that certain pieces of information that you guys give me is very useful for me, and I always try to take that in consideration when I am caring for a plant. So that's my goal for this year. Will I meet it? Let's see. Let's hang around together. Let's go through this journey together, and then we can do a recap come the end of the year, whether or not if I was successful. But as I said, you guys, this ends this video. Keep in mind, if you love foliage as much as I do and you love listening to planty things, subscribe to this channel. Push those thumbs up. I love talking to you guys. I appreciate your support any and everywhere. Enjoy your day wherever you are in the world. And until next time, guys, much love. Bye.